What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode 18. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Living the dream, as always, much like my friend Baku does.
Yep, just out here getting punched in the stomach by your boss and living the dream.
Yep, getting punched right to bed.
Yeah, just literally knockout blow is what happens to me every day. I can relate to Baku for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, even though he's probably like 20 years younger than us, it's nice to finally have a hero that I can truly relate to.
Yeah.
How much work usually sucks and work's nonsense and everything else.
Well, also just to have a hero whose main like skill is sleeping. Like I can relate to that. I can pretend to be that person.
I can at least do half of what he does and dream about things.
Exactly. I can pretend I'm really good at things in my dream instead of real life. And that part of his job, I've got that down. Yeah.
Do you ever have dreams where like you're not even good at the thing? Like I've definitely had dreams where I was in a band or doing something that's sportsy or anything along those lines. And I still end up being garbage at it, even in my dreams.
Oh, yeah.
That usually feels good.
Yeah. That's I feel like most of my dreams, and I guess this is more of a nightmare, but I feel like most of the time when I'm dreaming at nighttime, I'm dreaming that I'm doing something, but it's all falling apart for some reason. Like in the guitar example, it'd be like, oh, I'm playing the guitar in a band, but for some reason the guitar turned to jello and now it's falling out of my hands and I can't hold it, but I'm trying really hard, and it's that sort of thing happens.
That'd be a good gimmick for a band. If they had like jello guitars.
Jello instruments, yeah, that'd be cool.
Everything.
Yeah, I'm sure someone out there has done that. That probably is a thing.
If not directly that, I'm sure I can AI it up in mere moments to get this band out in the forefront of humanity.
I'm sure, yeah. Have you seen people have started doing the like recreating AI in real life? So they'll do like an AI prompt for something and then they'll act it out. It's like one I saw was like it was a guy who does like parkour. So he like had the AI do some crazy, like not really humanly possible stuff. And then he like did his best to recreate it. But like, it feels like everyone is doing like that video now. It's exhausting.
It's funny you mentioned that because Alan Pan just put out I'm making AI slap into real inventions video.
Yes.
And I was literally watching it when you said, okay, I'm ready now.
I bet his is actually good because he's usually very funny and very clever. But yeah, it seems like that's the thing that everyone goes to.
We keep going like, I guess it's almost full circle, but I don't know if it's actually a circle where people are going to make AI and then people are going to make things off of the AI, and then AI is going to make things off the things that people made from the AI, and it's all just going to turn to like a blur sin.
Yeah. And that's actually funny because there's been some research now on like large language models and specifically like image generation models too, that are trained on AI generated data, and they all eventually just collapse under the horrible data, essentially. So if you continue to feed AI data back into an AI, eventually it just can't do anything and it spits out gibberish. And that's a pretty great metaphor for what's happening in the world right now.
It would have been easily a decade ago, I think, at this point, if not more. But when Siri first became a thing, Siri used to be very intelligent and just do smart people things and actually help you out.
Yeah.
And then people did so many dumb AI prompty searches with Siri that I feel like this was a proven thing. If not, I'm not going to fact check myself. It's okay. But I feel like Siri actively got dumber because the model was being trained on was people saying the stupidest shit possible to Siri, ask like dumb questions and say dumb things. So no matter what, I think we'll always rise up against the machines because our own stupidity will actually be the genius that takes it down.
That is true. Yeah. The ultimate win that we have against the machines is that we can be dumber no matter what.
We can out-dumb.
We can out-dumb them. That is something bright and hopeful about humanity.
Yeah.
Toby, I got a little embarrassed tonight. Normally I'm not someone who gets embarrassed about the dumb things that I do. But so on Tuesday nights, my daughter has an activity that I take her to, and it's just like, it's 90 minutes of me sitting and waiting. So what I have started doing to fill that 90 minutes is I will bring my Switch and I will play Street Fighter. And it's like a great time to get some Street Fighter in, which doesn't sound like the craziest thing in the world to do until I tell you that I bring my Switch and also bring an arcade stick. So I bring my like very small hitbox, which is like all button controller, and I like hook up my little system and I play Street Fighter on an arcade controller at this place. And like most of the time it's fine because I think people are like looking at me being like, "What's that guy doing?" But today, one of the people that work at this place saw me and then later was like asking me specific questions about Street Fighter because he also plays, and it was way more embarrassing because he knew what I was doing. I don't know why that made it more embarrassing for me, but it was like he understood exactly what I was doing and probably still thought it was weird instead of just like, what's that weird guy doing with video games?
I feel like if he came to talk to you about it, it's not as weird as you would think.
Yeah, it was actually fine, but
yeah, if he actively walked up to you and was like, "Oh, you're doing this. Hey, you're doing this," like at least he's on the same page as you.
yeah, he was very cool. It was just funny that like I don't know, like it felt like an activity that I was like kind of under the radar for because no one knew what I was doing, and then I felt a little exposed. And he was like, "Oh, hey, who do you main?" Be like, "Oh, what? you know what I'm doing here?" But
In my visual of this, you are like sitting on the bleachers watching the kid do something with like a full fight stick and everything set up next to you.
it's
My
not
visual. This is hilarious.
So it is. So the actual, I'm just at a table. So basically, it's just like tables scattered around, and I'm just sitting at a table. But the little stick that I bring, it's not a stick. Again, it's just like all buttons, but it's very small. It's about the size of what's a good example? It's like the size of a hardcover book, like one of like a normal sized hardcover book, except it's half as thick. if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So I carry it and my Switch in like a tiny little like sling bag. So it all fits in it pretty well. But yeah, when I get there and I, set the Switch up on the table and then pull out the arcade stick, I'm sure I look ridiculous, but it's a good 90 minutes that I can spend focused on Street Fighter.
Are other parents or guardians or watchers doing other insane things, or are you just like the craziest of all of them?
Oh, I mean, I'm obviously the craziest of all of them. Like
You never
the
know.
other people that are around waiting are like, just like looking at their phones or like they brought their computer because they're continuing to work or whatever. Like it's that sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And then I'm the guy who's over here with the Switch playing Street Fighter.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. It really it's become a thing that I look forward to every week now because I just get like dedicated 90 minutes of video game time, which is usually not true in my life anymore, where I can have that dedicated time to focus on something. So yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did tonight, Toby.
Nicely done.
Yeah. Let's jump in and talk about Kamen Rider. That's what we do on this podcast. Today, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode 18. This one is entitled Shoot. Like, shoot.
Drat. Darn.
my darn it, my boss died. Because catching us up last time around, Ding Dong Zero is dead. He was destroyed. We built the bike back, but his body did not return because his memory unit is in the hands of the lady. So this time around, we don't waste any time getting into the exciting part. Baku instantly meets his new commander, and we find out that this is indeed code number 3. Code number 3 is the new boss. He's going to be calling the new missions. He says that Zero can't be with them for a variety of reasons, and they had to restructure their command structure after Nox's betrayal. So Baku says like, "Hey, Zero was going to tell me all the secrets of code before he got blown up. So you're going to do that again, right?" And code number 3, of course, says, "Hey, Zero was lying to you. We're not going to do that." And then he just proceeds to, I guess, like knee Baku in the stomach or punch Baku in the stomach and completely knocks him out, sends him to Dream World.
He gave him a stiff knee because Baku was trying to get all sassy with his new boss. And I'm shocked that, I guess not shocked, because the show's been pretty good about it. There was no other, hey, is 3 a real person? We'll Baku, meet three. What's going to happen here? Like, it pretty much just immediately after last week's little tease of three talking to him, he's just in the office now. And it's not just that he's in the office. It seems extra weird to me. And I guess I never thought about it or was addressed before. Like, could Zero have left the hideout like Baku does?
He did, in fact, because remember that one time when the sister was looking at Baku when he wouldn't wake up, and Zero like walks out of the closet into Baku's room.
Okay, so I forgot that. So it seems extra weird to me now, or extra suspect, or whatever word we want to put here, that now an actual just human dude is basically Baku's roommate.
Yeah,
especially when the family just seems to be Baku and his sister, and now he just has some random guy just hanging out next door or in the house, or like the calls are coming from inside the house, kind of serial killer shit.
that's true. I hadn't considered that aspect of it, but that is very funny. It felt more normal when it was a remote controlled robot in there, but yeah, now that it's just like literally a person, it's like, how are you getting in and out? Like, are you sneaking in Baku's window like the cops do? Like you're just climbing up the window and going in that way, or what's the deal here? Is there a secret entrance to the command closet?
Yeah, I never thought about it when it was just a robot, because the robot seemed happy with just living in the robot space, since obviously he has no real feelings or anything. But now that it's a living human being who obviously doesn't really want to put up with Baku's shit, it seems extra suspect that he can just walk out the closet into Baku's bedroom.
Yeah, that does seem really strange now that you mention it. I do appreciate, like you said, that we just like got right into this. Like, we got the tease of code number 3 last time around, but then this time it's like, boom, Baku's right there. He's right in his face. We're having the confrontation. I feel like this show, especially because it's so like dream focused, they are really taking advantage of that they don't have to show us the like in between scenes. Like they didn't have to show us like Baku deciding to return to the headquarters to go meet this guy. They just get to show us like him showing up there, right? Because like they can kind of play fast and loose with that stuff because so much of the story is like in dream world and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that is serving it well because we can jump to exciting stuff like this. But yeah, code number 3 seems mean so far. He seems like he's going to be a little bit ruder of a boss than Zero was.
He's definitely no nonsense, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And at this point, I guess Zero had his own voice to go with his own brain and stuff. But I was thinking last week, partially when 3 was giving like the orders, kind of, that maybe he was just the voice of Zero and then digitized into the robot. But I'm going to assume that he's just his own 3 person, and Zero is just there to do robot guidance things.
Yeah, I thought that at first too, that might be the case. It was like, oh, is this the person who'd been controlling Zero the whole time? But yeah, I think that they don't want us to think that. I think that they're intending that someone else is Zero, some other person who still exists but isn't going to be talking to Baku for a while. And maybe we'll find out who that is. We saw the silhouette at the beginning of the show, but I don't know if that is a real person that they cast for this role or if that was just a stand-in that they thought, hey, we might need this later.
might need to do a thing, so let's set up a thing.
Yeah. So code number 3 knocks Baku out kind of instantly here. Baku goes in the dream world because of that, and we're having a high school dream. Baku is I think the class president here. Nem is their teacher. And also in the class is Naska, the police officer, and her friend or her comrade, which they keep calling her, Kureha. And we find out that the mission is defend the comrades. And that's what code number 3 also tells us too. So code number 3 delivered the mission, and that's what we're focusing on.
Yeah, I actually thought like it was hilarious, if not very corny, where once Baku wakes up in class and Nem's the teacher, he did the real smooth like, "Hey, Mrs. Nem, how's your day?" and like winked at her and shit.
That was great.
It was kind of funny that he was a very aggressive young schoolboy in love with his teacher, and they both just like giggled it off, and he just went on his way.
Yeah, I love that they behaved like their normal selves, where he flirts with her and then she kind of like, coyly laughs it off. But they did it when she's supposed to be the teacher and he's the
Yeah.
student. It was so great. And I love that no one else reacted to it either. Like it really shows its dream because he instantly flirts with the teacher and she is okay with it. And every other student in there is like, yeah, whatever, this is normal. um I did yeah, I did like the vibe for sure. And Nazca, I think like yeah, doesn't want people calling her Nazca, doesn't want Baku calling her Nazca, except her friend Kureha can. Then we cut over to see what Nox and the lady are up to. Nox tells the lady that Baku won't be easy to break, but she says it'll be interesting once he learns all the secrets of code. And she essentially tells Nox that she kind of meddled in Baku's affairs and went and actually met him in person.
They all seem pretty convinced that when Baku knows that code's fucked up, which it probably is, like they're setting it up so heavy that I'm sure it's going to pay off. But they all seem convinced that when they tell Baku, "Hey, code's a pile of shit because of A, B, and C," that he's just going to give up instead of being like, "No, it might be, but I don't like you guys, and I'll just fix it then, and we'll go from there."
Yeah, like it seems like if you're that convinced that this information is gonna win him over to your side, maybe just like go ahead and tell him.
Yeah, and then go from there to the side to see what happens. And
Yeah. Oh yeah, we are getting a little bit like all right, well you're just the boy who cried wolf here at this point. Like you keep saying it's bad and you're not telling us why. We cut back to the school. This time it is basketball practice time. Baku and Nem are kind of up talking in the balcony while the kids are practicing in the gym. Baku, of course, assumes that Nazca is the dreamer that's causing this dream, this nightmare. And Nem says that she will poke around the school as a teacher and see what she can find out. But as that's happening, the nightmare shows up and basically he just puts weapons in all of the kids' hands, including the craziest one, puts a gun in Kureha's hand.
I thought we were doing like full blown just battle royale.
We
Like
are. I
Japanese,
mean, like literally.
I mean, it effectively is, but just Japanese schoolroom kids have a sliding scale of types of weapons. But yeah, her getting just a gun, just a plain revolver as her thing, and then the person next to her got like a tennis racket.
Yeah.
It seemed absurd, but obviously there was things being set up.
Yeah, certainly reasons that she got the gun, but it was very funny that she's just literally holding a realistic looking revolver, and like you said, there's like a bat next to her and like just ridiculous weapons otherwise that you wouldn't actually be able to defeat the monster with, but except for a gun.
Yeah.
She starts looking at it. All the people are like wondering why they have these things in their hands, and the nightmare shows up and says that this is a game where the rules are simple. You either kill him or he kills all of them. It's a death game.
Hell of a game.
Yeah, certainly is. And the nightmare this time around, I think, is one of the creepiest ones that we've had in the show. Like there's something about like the way he moves too that is just like, it's just off-putting. I don't like looking at him, and he weirds me out.
I like the fact that like his head seems to be a timer, and he got to like spin his face to put his eyes in the right location and stuff.
That was cool.
He's definitely a very creepy looking monster. And then like along with him, which I don't know if you have booked in the notes there or not. When we were looking at the lady doing her thing, she spawned a weird little like fluffy white eyeball butterfly moth monster that we never saw again. Just kind of like spawned and disappeared.
Point. Yeah, I had actually forgotten about that. But yeah, like she's doing her little thing, spawns monster, and it seems like he's going to be our monster. And then we just never see him again. We move on to a different nightmare. So I'm assuming we'll get to see that guy some point down the road. But maybe she's just over there like Pokemon, collecting them all. She's like, I need one of these. I gotta get my Growlithe going. Here we go.
Like I guess interesting would be the right word, but whatever. It was fun to see how the monsters are showing up this season, and it's literally just like the crazy flower patch. Wherever their base is, monsters just come out. Like basically a monster just kind of walked out and was like, "Hey, I'm here now." off I go.
Hey, what up? I'm a monster. All right, I'm gonna go do my thing. Yeah. Well, the nightmare in this dream right now is certainly wasting no time because he tells them the rules and then he instantly starts trying to kill him and he blows up the entire gym like almost right away.
Yeah.
However, Baku saves everyone by using his shield, caps him, saves all the students. I guess otherwise the game would have been over like right then. So the Nightmare, of course, is a little upset about that, but kind of fucks off. And Kureha is um, basically vowing that she's gonna fight. She's gonna fight this monster. She's gonna protect everyone with her gun.
I mean, of all the people on the team or in the dream or whatever you want to call it, she would be the best suited, considering that she has an actual goodness gun and not just a tennis racket or a beach ball against a monster that shoots spikes at you.
That is true. Like if I'm picking someone who might win, it's gonna be the person with the gun more than the person with the tennis racket. Yeah.
Have
That
we
is a
ever
good
actually
pick.
seen, aside from today, which doesn't work, have we ever actually seen someone shoot an actual monster with a plain gun? Because like
Hmm.
the guy today was very armored, so I assumed even if her gun worked, it wasn't going to do anything, and it didn't. But I feel like
I'm
it's always like magic weapons. It's never just weapons.
Yeah, it usually is not just a gun. I'm sure at some point in the history of Kamen Rider we've seen someone just shoot a monster with a gun, probably multiple times, but none jump out at me right now in my recent memory. But I'm sure someone will tell us all the times it has happened.
Yeah, someone knows.
Yeah. Back in the real world, Baku is meeting with Nazca in the command closet. He tells her that, hey, you were in my dream. She doesn't remember. He tells her about the basketball team, so she knows that he actually is in a dream that's about her and about her past. Fujimi says that there's a black case happening at her high school, so it makes sense, and tells him about the gym that blew up and kids are disappearing from yearbooks. When they show a little clip of this, where it's a picture of the yearbook, and then just kids start like blanking out of the squares,
I thought it was
and
cool. That was fun.
yeah, that was awesome. That spun me off into this whole side thought of just like how cool would it be if that was like a whole anime series of like suddenly kids start disappearing from yearbooks and then disappearing in the real world too at the same time. And like that sounds interesting.
I
So
would
yeah,
almost guarantee that probably is one, but yeah, that would
that's
definitely
true.
work.
That probably does already exist. But yeah, I thought that was a neat way to represent like the kids dying in the dream world, they're disappearing from the yearbook. I thought that was neat. Nazca goes to investigate, visits the old school, and she actually runs into a grown-up Kureha, her friend from high school. Kureha is taking photos. She's I guess, a journalist now, and she seems very cold towards Nazca here. Doesn't really have much to say, and tries to get away pretty quickly.
Or at least in her own photography bubble.
Yeah,
Maybe not
yeah.
necessarily like cold, but just like I'm doing something. Oh, okay, you're here. Yeah, leave me alone.
Yeah, it wasn't like a, I'm gonna run and hug you type of meeting between these
Yeah,
two.
it wasn't a warm welcome.
No, not at all. We find out Nazca explains to us that the two girls had planned to apply to the same college, but Korea had backed out. Fujimi thinks that Nazca might have regrets about her friend, and that's causing the nightmare. So we go back to the dream world, and this really is where things get, I think, crazy in this episode. And we've talked about it before, but like obviously Japan has a very different relationship with the guns and gun violence than we do in America.
Yeah,
But cutting back to this scene and like it's just a monster rampaging through a school, very like viciously murdering students. And one of the students has a gun and is planning to kill the monster with the gun. And that was jarring to see almost. Like it's pretty aggressive. Like murdering kids in school is kind of a weird, crazy thing in general to see on essentially a kids show. And then one of those kids having a gun and is planning to murder the monster is extra whole other level of it. So yeah, I think this is where the monster really started seeming very scary to me. Especially, I think a lot of the like kills and stuff we see seem pretty aggressive, I
yeah.
guess. And then the one point where like the two girls are hiding and he sneaks up behind them and he's like, "You thought you could hide from me?" It's like, "Holy shit." This is intense.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's something that especially I feel now, the past decade and a half, 2 decades in America, like school violence, guns would never remotely like sniff the plot of something
Yeah.
unless it's some like edgy movie that's going to just do a dramatic version of it, but it would never be a kid show. Like
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Definitely not. No, it's really interesting, like from a cultural perspective, like how that is a thing that is I guess way easier for them to like fantasize about. Fantasize is probably the wrong word, but like it's easier for them to like put that in a story as an imaginary thing because it's not a thing that they are like dealing with on a daily basis, right? And it's
Yeah.
interesting as well from the flip side, like how much seeing something like that in media does affect me. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, like I have feelings about this. This is upsetting me in weird ways. But nonetheless, yeah, the nightmare certainly racks up a death count pretty quickly here. In the midst of all the chaos, as Baku is working to protect the students, Kureha recognizes Baku and calls him number 7. So we quickly find out there she's the real dreamer. It's not Nazca. It is Kureha. Kureha attempts to shoot the nightmare but misses. He shoots back and she dodges the bullet, which is awesome. She just kind of sidesteps and he misses her. Baku henshins into his stream form, the blue form. He fights the nightmare. It's a good little fight. Nox eventually shows up and basically says, "Hey, there's a game going on. You should enjoy it. You can't just defend forever, or the death game will never end." And then Nox shoots the barrier that Baku had put up. And we find out from Kureha, obviously she knows Baku is number 7. Baku has a chance to talk to her towards the end here. And he says, "Hey, you clearly know who I am, and I think I know where I know you from. It's from the Cram School." So we cut back to that. We hadn't seen it for a little bit, but we remember back to the weird school where Baku would go and put headphones on, and clearly he was getting like brainwashed or something. And Kureha was also going to this Cram School. So he asks her at the very end, "Are you a code agent? Did you used to be a code agent?" And she says yes. So we meet yet another code agent in Kureha. So clearly she's been, trained with a gun, which is why she's trying to shoot guns and dodge bullets in this episode.
And that makes her 1, 2, 5, or 6 at this point.
Yep, exactly. I'm guessing that she's a number higher than 4 because she's younger, like Baku is. So I'm guessing that she is a 6 or something like that to kind of fit in. That's my current guess.
It would make sense also because if 3 seems very bossy at this point, like high up C-level operator. So her being stuck in a dream with a nightmare, I feel like if she was number 1 or number 2, wouldn't check out for how that would happen. So I think more like you said, she's definitely probably like the one before Baku or maybe 2 before Baku, but she's definitely a young one.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I just realized for the first time right now that 0 also fits in with the code numbers because he's 0. And then we go into like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had never really connected that before.
Yeah, I thought that was obvious.
No, I feel very dumb that I hadn't actually put that together. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I think with 3 being the new sort of like commander for Baku, it seems to indicate that maybe he is the senior official that still is in existence. Like, I don't know what happened to 1 and 2, but maybe they're not around if he's the one who's taking the reins.
Yeah, and he doesn't just really seem like that much, maybe a little older, but not that much older. Like,
3,
I guess, 3. Like a little older than Nox.
Pretty young. Yeah, he seems older than Nox, but not too much. Yeah.
Yeah. But so if nothing else, Code's definitely recruiting high teens, young 20s kids that all went to brain training school at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it would be teens, right? It'd be kids who are going to a cram school like prior to college. So it'd be young people, young people.
Yeah.
So you're certainly not the most unevil thing an organization has ever done. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about the cram school for a couple of episodes, so I was happy that they brought that back, and something like very fruitful is actually coming of this now. Like we're introducing a character, which really, I thought this was a cool way to introduce her. Like it ties her into Nazca's background without that feeling contrived. And then also, of course, she's going to hook into the whole code stuff that's going on right now. I'm really interested to meet her in the real world, obviously, since we've only really known her in the dream world so far. I know we've seen her in the real world because she was taking photos, but I'm interested to like talk to her more, basically, and see if she's any different.
Yeah, of all the personality types, definitely seems more Baku typed than a Nox or a 3 type. So maybe that's why she's not an agent anymore, but I guess we'll see.
Also, I'm assuming that she'll henshin at some point if she's an agent, right? She'll have some sort of suit that she can put on and she'll fight.
That maybe that's our tertiary rider that we've been curious about.
Maybe, yeah. I was kind of still holding out hope for Baku's sister getting to put on a suit at some point.
Yeah, it's still possible. But yeah, at this point, it seems like if number X over there is going to be sticking around, I would assume she's going to a Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Or at least, I don't know, like Nox's belt driver or whatever was packed away effectively. Baku got his own. I wonder if she even has one left or if she will be able to get one where that would be a thing, or there's definitely like angles they can play with for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She definitely seems like a person who's going to like get involved, like, you know, with the gun shooting and stuff. Like she clearly has training like Baku does, and you know, is going to be in the field to some extent. So yeah, we'll see if she gets a driver and is able to actually henshin.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of a crazy episode. There's a lot going on, a lot of crazy stuff with the monster and with all the school stuff. Certainly some insane visuals with the gun being involved. But yeah, we're barreling forward, introducing characters, learning new things about characters, even getting some background on Nazca, which I wasn't really expecting, but cool to find out more about her too. So lots of pieces coming together. All right. Well, yeah, that is episode 18. We'll jump over here now to our email section. Our email address is cast@commonwritersucks.com. Once again, that is cast@commonwritersucks.com. Yeah, send us in emails about anything you want, about the show, about any other toku stuff going on, or, you know, just to ask random questions. It'll probably get read on the show. We have an email this week coming in from our friend Shade. Shade writes in and says, "Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Case 18 of Kamen Rider Zeztz. We have a bunch of stuff to discuss this week, so let's quickly get to case file number 18. This time, Baku's mission, Defend the Comrades, was given by Agent Code number 3, which leads him to infiltrating Nazca's high school. According to the blog, this time, Nem was in charge of calling out the mission at the beginning. The mission was written on the blackboard and Nem was the teacher, so the director told Horiguchi, Nem's actress, on the spot, let's have Nem call out the mission. Horiguchi was extremely nervous as she had to suddenly say the English lines, but when she actually did them, we were surprised at how good her pronunciation was." Shade says, "Well, I guess she tried her best considering she had no time to prepare." Next up, we're introduced to Nazca's mysterious friend Kureha, aka Agent Code number ? The actress who plays Kureha is Hidekawa Yuzuki. She previously played Papillion Ogre, the Ogre as in Ranger, in Osama Sentai King Ogre. I didn't know that. That was the Sentai that we didn't watch that you hate the look of with the backgrounds. That
we will keep not watching.
Yeah, so we will never see her play the character in King Ogre. But yeah, it's always interesting when they do the crossover between Kamen Rider and Sentai. Shade says, despite the actress being a relatively new face in tokusatsu, people like her a lot, me included. She was easily one of the best characters / actors on King Ogre, which is saying something because the entire cast of King Ogre was stellar. Fun fact about the baseball scene, or the basketball scene, both actresses had experience playing basketball. Nazca's actress was even on a professional team at some point, I think. So this was purely for them to show off their skills. That was interesting. We didn't talk about this. The basketball scene goes on forever.
They were definitely. I was curious if it was like a one take or they played for like 20 minutes and just took the best shots, or but they did seem good. There was no cheating. There's definitely
Yeah.
no cheating.
Yeah, there's no cheating, and they're actually playing, and it was so clear in the shooting that it was like, oh, these two girls just know how to play basketball and wanted to show it off, so that's why we're getting this scene. But yeah, it just goes on, and very funny. Shade goes on to say, then we got the debut of Kamen Rider Nox's gun capsum. He uses the ability of the gun nightmare from episode 1 to transform his right hand into a gun. That is it for case file number 18. But we have something extra before we end off. The transformation lesson for Kamen Rider Nox recently came out, and to my surprise, it's actually kind of relevant to the plot. Oh, interesting. Okay. I have not watched this yet, so we'll see what it's about. The transformation lesson follows Zero after his robot body was destroyed. After the fight, he's been running combat simulations and analyzing Kamen Rider Nox's abilities behind the scenes. In the simulation, we also get to see a brand new fight scene featuring a simulated Zeztz plasma fighting Kamen Rider Nox. Similar to Zetz's projection clones, simulated Zeztz plasma does not have a driver. So, in the image that Shade sent, he's got like a thing on his chest where the driver would be, but it's just sort of like molded flat plastic and isn't a driver. Shade says that the simulation ends with Kamen Rider Nox overpowering Zeztz plasma. After that, while Zero is analyzing the simulation, Nox hacks into the simulation and deletes all the data. Nox then records a message telling the other agents how rotten code is. I think. I'm not that good at Japanese yet. What's really interesting is that Nox has the gun capsum and is in the middle of investigating Kureha, the code agent. So this transformation lesson takes place right after episode 18, which means that for the past 2 episodes, Zero has been analyzing Kamen Rider Nox, and then all of his files got deleted. Don't you hate it when your 2 weeks worth of work suddenly gets deleted? Also, according to the smart people on the internet who spotted this, the Nox driver was canonically programmed in Python. Apparently this is funny for some reason, but I'm not a programmer, so I don't understand why this is funny. And Shade sends a screenshot, and I'm zooming in here on the screenshot so I also can see. And yeah, so what we're seeing on the screen specifically is not only Python code, but it is an error message because the Python code you ran didn't work. So from what I can read, yeah, it's a traceback error because code-reader.py failed in main on a sleep line, or maybe no, there was a keyboard interrupt. It says the person running the code looks like was named Aaron, maybe because it says C users Aaron and then something.
Goddamn Aaron.
Maybe Psycho Projects or something projects / stock code. So yeah, we get a little bit of a Python error code, and that's funny as someone who knows about programming languages. Python, I guess, yeah, Python is a language that is useful, but it is what's called a scripting language, so it is not compiled. So oftentimes, if you want something that is like the fastest that it can possibly be, you wouldn't use Python because it inherently has to get interpreted as it runs, and then that makes it a little bit slower. So for something like a driver or a watch or an appliance or something like that you might wear or wouldn't necessarily have a lot of like onboard computing power, you wouldn't use Python for something like that because it wouldn't be the most efficient use of that space and of that compute power. But it's cool to see that they're actually showing Python scripting here on the screen.
Now that your Python dissertation aside, which was very intelligent at least, I guess I don't know if it's weird or not, or just because we don't interact with the shows the way, I guess, if you're in Japanese or if you're in Japan and no Japanese can, it seems kind of silly that sounds more like an actual chunk of something that should have been seen versus making it a transformation lesson, which I know they're only a couple minutes, but we usually don't watch them. We just usually say like, oh, there's more of those out again, no big deal. But at least like that one specifically has a chunk of actual show information that I feel like is missing now. Or
Yeah.
we don't need the information, but it seems like it's actual good information for once and not just random nonsense.
Yeah, because a lot of times the transformation sequences are like they're kind of like jokey sometimes. So like they may be like will technically have some plot in them, but like who cares because it's just kind of silly. Or sometimes they like might have a little bit of plot, but it's sort of like doesn't make sense in continuity if you really think about it. So they're sort of like not officially canon. But yeah, this one sounds like it fits in perfectly. So it is one that would have been nice if we could have seen that in the show, I guess. But I don't know. I guess it depends on like what their plans are with Zero and stuff going forward. Like if it matters whether all of his stuff got deleted on Kamen Rider Nox or not. But yeah, it would have been cool to see Nox doing some cool hacking.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, like, I think the only time we watched it, or at least I watched one, was it was either like Geets or Gav, Geets or Gotchard,
I think we
and we
watched the
watched.
Gotcha one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically just like, hey, here's how we do henshins. Check us out. Ha ha ha. And it was just like a silly like 2 minute video of just them showing off their toys kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I would have watched other ones of them if there was actual story stuff there. But I just assumed they were all just like the kids getting to screw around basically and being like, hey, look, we're your new Kamen Riders. This is our henshin. This is what we do kind of deal.
I know people end up watching them a lot if they buy the driver and they want to learn the motions to do the driver correctly. So I know that's put it on loop and learn the hand motions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like if these things are gonna exist, like the little mini stories with the sister as well is a good example. So it's like if you're gonna do those things and have fun little side stories, I appreciate that they're like relevant and they actually have like things worth watching them for. And this one kind of sounds like it's well done because like if you watch it, you get more plot that's actually relevant to what's happening on the show. But I bet it's structured in a way that like if you never watch it, you're not really missing out not knowing that information.
Yeah.
If you never know that like Nox did some hacking and deleted some data, that's not a big deal, but it ties in well. And I mean, I guess they got a lot of TTFC to fill up with stuff like this too. So they're getting pretty good at figuring out how to carve up chunks of the plot that they can show in different areas.
Yeah, like pieces here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. Shade says, now on to the news and tidbits for this week. We have some updates on the Kamen Rider film project they're working on. Sad news, it doesn't seem to be the standalone Kamen Rider film we were talking about. Good news is it's going to be an anniversary film for an old Kamen Rider season. But for some reason, they're doing this in the most roundabout way possible. They've made a bunch of movie titles for a wide range of Kamen Rider series, and basically told everyone to guess what movie they're making. 3 people who guessed correctly will get a poster signed by the cast, so it's not for nothing, I guess. I'm 90% sure I know the answer to this, but let's take a look at the titles and make a guess, for funsies.
I was hoping that if you won, you get to be like in the show or something, and then I would have guessed and went to play the game.
Yeah, I feel like you should get to be a cameo in the movie instead of a poster. Yeah, I agree. So the movie titles that they are presenting is Agito, Psychic War, Ryuki, Survive Grand Prix, Kabuto, the one who inherits the heaven, Deno, Ore, Anju, I'm blazing up. Deno had a movie named Ore Tanjo, apparently, so this would be the sequel to that. Decade, the Super Shocker War, Gaim, Niflheim War, Ghost, Anniversary, Icon of the Beginning. The Amazon's movie is Psychic War, written in English. I guess Agito is Psychic War, written in Japanese, and Amazon's is Psychic War, written in English.
There you go.
Xaid would be the movie Divine Game. Build would be the Two. Build had a movie already called Be the One, by the way. And Geo would be Next New World. So Shade doesn't tell us which one he thinks is the actual answer, and I'm really curious to hear what he thinks is the actual answer. But which of those sounds the most like a real movie to you?
Xaid.
I mean, I'd be most hopeful for the Xaid movie or the Geo movie. I think those would be the two that I'd be the most pumped for. especially Xaid, I think, since we, have watched pretty much everything there is to watch for Xaid so far, and getting another movie for that would be exciting.
Yeah, like, I know. I don't think it's an anniversary year for that show, but I feel like we saw something in the past year that involved X8 for some reason. So that it seems like a good time to bring him back, or a fun time to bring him back.
Yeah, I agree. To your point about it being an anniversary year, the only one of the movies that has anniversary in the name is the Ghost one, anniversary icon of the beginning. So maybe that tells us something. I would guess that the ones where they are a play on a previous movie title, like the Deno one and the Build movie, I bet those are fake, because would they really make Be the One and then Be the Two? I don't really know if they'd do that, if they'd commit to that joke or not.
I think I think it'd be funny if they did. Maybe it's not as, I'm going to use the word cringy, I guess, for lack of a better thing, but I feel like that would be a very cringy thing for to be done in America, but maybe not in Japan.
Maybe, yeah, it might be a different vibe. All right, so I guess we'll find out soon. I think that countdown is still going. But maybe we'll find out which of these anniversary movies is happening next. Shade says, then, of course, for this week's big news, we got the press conference for Kamen Infinity. Now, have you watched any further trailers or anything about Kamen, Toby?
I am doing my usual avoid everything, just because I'm under the assumption we will be watching it in some way. Yep, and I like not ruining things for myself.
Yeah. I think especially since it's the, first show of this Project Red thing and we got to figure it out. I think watching it for the show is a thing I want to do for sure. So I watched the trailer that came out for it, and gotta say, looks like a Sentai. looks like they're making one of those.
Oh, we did see the toys today. I guess the battery canisters or batteries.
Oh yeah.
And especially with seeing those, it feels as gimmicky as it comes for the way that Kamen Rider and Sentai shows work now. So it seems right in the same wheelhouse of doing the same exact thing next year with a different name.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because the whole reason they talked about ending Super Sentai was that the toy sales had fallen off. So it's like, hey, let's kill this thing and then figure out how we can revamp it where toys are the main focus. And what are they going to do? They're going to do gimmick items like Kamen Rider does. They're going to do blind boxes like Kamen Rider started with Gacha. Like they're going to do the things that get people to buy more toys that they figured out with Kamen Rider. So it all makes perfect sense what we're seeing so far.
Yeah.
But Shade says the press conference introduced some info about the characters, cast, and some plot points, but I will be refraining from sharing anything plot, story, or character related. So the way they did the press con was really cool. Remember a couple weeks ago, we covered that Kamen Infinity was going to be about the multiverse of Kavans. Well, the press conference treated each Kamen as their own separate cast of characters from their own shows. They introduced the Kamen Infinity cast first. Suddenly there's a cut. Then we're introduced to the Kamen Bushido cast. Sudden cut again. Then we meet the Kamen Luminous cast. So, yeah, that's cool that they're actually keeping them a little separate at the beginning here. We also got our first look at the Gavarian Trigger, which is also the Cosmo Gavarian from Bandai. The gun will serve as the Gavan's transformation device, spaceship, and mecha. So it's a jack of all trades here. And that's what you were talking about today, that uses the cute little batteries with the little faces on them.
Yep.
That's it for all the reveals at Kamen Infinity's press conference. Overall, I'm pretty excited for this, Shade says. Judging from the trailer, Kamen Infinity will be a bit similar to Deca Ranger, or Power Rangers SPD, which is great because Deca Ranger is my favorite Sentai, which isn't surprising because Deca Ranger was a homage to the Space Sheriff trilogy. Funny how things go around. Beyond all that, the trailer didn't reveal a lot of the story, which I think is a good thing. One thing I find really unique, though, is that Kamen Infinity will be using CGI backgrounds to create space-like environments on the show. Now, the technology is advanced. Kamen Infinity has the potential to create space battle scenes that the original Kamen never could. So that's a little worrisome, but, they have really upped their CG game recently in recent shows, so I have faith that they can make the CGI backgrounds look good here as well. Shade says, speaking of the original Gavan, I'd like to end my email section with a small review of Space Sheriff Gavan. I just recently finished the show exactly on Gavan Infinity's press conference day, purely coincidence, and I thought the show was incredible. Space Sheriff Gavan is easily one of the most action-packed toku shows I've ever seen, and just so you know, I've seen so many of these shows. The legendary Kenji Oba plays the lead of the show, and he's magnificent. The man has spent nearly 40 years of his life working on these tokusatsu shows, so you get to see him at his peak in Gavan. Everything about him, from his charms to his moves and his dedication, convinces you that he is a real-life superhero, and he's here to kick all the bad guys' asses, and that's never not entertaining.
There you go.
The amount of stunt work and ass-kissing that is in this show will 100% surprise you. The only drawback about this series is that for a series that's named Space Sheriff Gavan, he does not go to space very often. Even when they do go to space for the mech fights, it's mostly stock footage. They filmed a bunch of mech footage for the first couple episodes, and they reused them for most of the series, minus the finale. You would think that this would make a solid 2 minutes of the show flat out boring, but no, because thankfully they compensated for this by having a bunch of amazing soundtrack playing over the stock footage, which just somehow magically makes it more entertaining again and again. If you haven't seen Space Sheriff Gavan yet, I highly recommend checking it out. This show is some of the best Showa tokusatsu has to offer. All right, that's all, folks. Have a good day. Thanks very much, Shade, for all of the info. And again, if you want to be like Shade and send us in an email, send those over to cast@commonwritersucks.com. I'm getting pretty excited to see Gavan Infinity just because, it's a new show. That's always exciting when we get a new show. And then there's extra question marks around this one about, what's it going to be like and how they're going to handle it. And is it going to be similar to Sentai or not? And yeah, I'm anxious to check it all out.
I saw the shiny outfits. I think they look cool, so I might as well watch the show. At least an episode.
I agree. The shiny outfits look cool. Toby, we also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/the comment writers is where you can find that. If you check that out, we have a bunch of bonus content that goes up every single week. Most of that is in the form of us watching old tokusatsu, or I guess newer tokusatsu as well. We are currently watching through Dawn Brothers and Goes Yuger. So we're watching some Sentai. So if you like what we talk about with Kamen Rider on the show here and you want to hear our thoughts on Sentai, the Patreon is where you can find that. We've also watched through all of X-Aid, for example, all of Black Sun, tons of stuff up there that you can check out and really just binge to your heart's content if you sign up now. $3 a month gets you access to the Patreon and the Discord where you can talk to us. And if you're not quite sure you want to commit just yet, you can follow the Patreon for free, and you get the first 3 episodes of everything that we've watched, so you can give us a little taste and see what you think. So again, that is patreon.com/the comment writers, and we do hope you check it out. Toby, with that, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. So why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes, and on YouTube, it's Tobes Plays.
For me, you can find me over on Blue Sky at meek.lol, and you can find the show on Blue Sky at commonwritersucks.com. All right. That is going to wrap us up. We'll be back next time to talk about mission number 19, hopefully find out more about these new agents that we've gotten introduced to. And we do hope you join us back for that discussion. But in the meantime, we hope you have a great week, everybody. Peace.